Killer rat gets exterminated in Harlem. Let's go, Piranhas. What is up, Piranhas? Top of the Monday morning to you guys. We got a hot one to talk about this morning. In case you guys don't know, this boy Alpo Martinez, one of the most polarizing figures in hip hop and street culture, got killed early Sunday morning on a street corner in Harlem, New York. In case you guys don't know who Alpo was, he was immortalized in the movie Paid in Full by Mackay. I mean, not Mackay Pfeiffer, but Cameron. Cameron played his character in the movie Paid in Full, and Cameron did a hell of a good job too, man. One of his best roles, one of the best roles of a hip hop artist, you know, taking on a movie role and shit, right? He played the shit out of that. But yeah, he played Rico / Alpo in the movie. And the movie kind of really told the story of what happened between Alpo and Rich Porter, right? And of course, it was told through the eyes of the boy AZ Faison, who's still alive as well. After what was portrayed in the movie and shit, right, that Alpo killed his boy Rich, right, over some drug-related shit, and then he booked from New York and went to DC, started a whole nother crew out there, was doing this shit, and ended up catching a bunch of murders and shit out there with another nigga named Wayne Perry. He got gaffled up. This is like in 91, I want to say. Got gaffled up, charged with 14 murders. End up flipping. That nigga flipped on his boy, right? Flipped on his boy, Wayne Perry. End up taking either a 5K1 or a Rule 35B deal where he cooperated with the feds. And nigga walked off his little time until about 2015. You know, they let this nigga go on some Sammy the Bull type shit, right? The nigga was released into witness protection, right? Wouldn't take the witness protection or whatever. Nigga popped back up in New York and Harlem, Brooklyn, all kind of fucking places. This nigga was on celebrity events, taking pictures with niggas, all these gangster ass rappers and shit, right? That talk that shit about they don't fuck with rat niggas and some more shit. Street connected niggas, shaking their hands, taking pictures, shaking their hands, like, you know, really on some, you niggas been talking that shit about me. What's really going on type shit. Really embarrassing niggas. Niggas was going for that shit too. And then, you know, nigga had a few little beefs and shit, right? Various different vloggers and shit, right? It was calling out the fact that this nigga didn't have no honor, you know, he was a rat, this, that, and the third. And shit, nigga got as my boy Nick Nass would say, he got exited from the motherfucking stage, left Halloween morning. You know, they got took out in the streets, by the streets, and shit, in my opinion, for the streets. And here's why. our conversation today really is not going to be on this particular motherfucker, right? Because niggas get killed in the streets every fucking day, right? This ain't no new shit. This ain't shit that's so super impressive. You know, we don't know about no fucking high tech, you know, complicated hit that was being put down. No big conspiracy to get this nigga out the way. Nigga is just done, right? On top of it, you know, I'm an Inglewood nigga, right? So California niggas, we don't get involved in New York politics and shit, right? We watch that shit from the sideline, talk a little shit here and there on Clubhouse or something like that. But basically, man, we not, you know, pressed about how y'all move. But in this particular scenario, right, the Alpo Martinez situation speaks to a bigger concern in street culture, right? Fuck hip hop culture, but just in street culture, because it addresses, or Alpo represents, the scariest nigga or the scariest entity in street culture, right? And that is the killer rat, right? And if you think that's some catchy term or some shit like that, that's fine. But this is a real thing, right? Because the killer rat, right, in street culture, right? Remember, everybody that's operating is a criminal, right? We're going to start off from there, right? These motherfuckers will kill you, right? A nigga will chip your ass, right? Blow your fucking back out from the front type shit, right? But given the right set of circumstances, they'll turn your motherfucking ass in, right? So that's like having two barrels loaded up and shit, right? Like, it's no way that you can effectively maneuver around to kill a rat other than knock his motherfucking ass down. You feel what I'm saying? Because this is the same motherfucker like in The Wire. Rest in peace to the actor that played Omar, right? Michael K. Williams. But Omar was in that kind of in that little zone. You know what I'm saying? Niggas on the street level scared of him because they know he'll fucking knock a nigga's ass down. So give me that little shit so I can feed my habit or whatever, right? And at the same time, if the heat gets a little too tough, you know, niggas is gunning for you or some more shit. You know what I'm saying? You find yourself in a tight spot with the ones, you don't have no fucking problem making no fucking deal. So not only do a nigga that is opposed to you in these streets, you know, your mortal enemy or whatever, not only do we have to be worried about your ass jumping out the bushes and shit, right? Blowing his fucking head off, but you also have to be worried about the police kicking in your fucking door because or kicking in his door because you done went, you know, and utilized that option as well, which is and has been a big no-no in the streets for my entire life, right? Even in today's culture, where it doesn't seem as though we live under the same set of morals, right? Or it's the same principles, but niggas don't adhere to them because there's no real penalties, right? So I think probably about the time that I went to the pen, maybe about the second or third time, niggas in the county jail would jokingly say shit like, oh yeah, it ain't called snitching, it's called getting down first. What? Fuck you mean it's called getting down first? So you mean to tell me that you and me can be involved in some activity that's meant to enrich us, but it involves a significant amount of risk, right? Like both of us is going to be willing to be put on timeout to go try to get this bread. And we get caught up and you say, oh, well, let me tell first before this nigga K-Mack get an opportunity to. This is where you niggas is coming from. So from that point of view, it was kind of like niggas from my era that kind of rolled the fucking wave and watched shit kind of unfold. And we was always kind of amazed at the fact that niggas would even look at that shit like jokingly, right? Like, because you coming up and through juvenile hall and shit, right? You told on somebody, you don't get fucked up at the very least, right? But there came a time where cooperating with the authorities became understandable, right? And then outright acceptable. I'll tell you guys some shit that happened last time I was in the pen. They sent me to Norco, level 2 yard. I'm like, whoa, level 2, shit, fucking Disneyland. When I get to R&R, they have me sign a paper that says that this is dorm living, and so it's bunk beds, and you can be on the bunk with a member of any race. Now, let me go back and let you know that California penitentiaries, everything is segregated or had been segregated along racial lines and shit, right? Sell up, if you're white, you sell up with the whites, you work out with the whites, you eat with the whites, you play cards with the whites. Your interaction with any other race is kind of, fucking on the surface at most, maybe a little business and just communicating just to kind of get through life and shit. But you ain't operating outside of your fucking race to do much of nothing. And if it ever go up, there ain't no head up, right? If a black dude and a Mexican dude get into it and it turn physical, the whole yard going up right there. Ain't no fucking questions, none of that shit. So for these motherfuckers to hit me with sign this paper that you can be sleeping on a bunk bed with any fucking body, just was like, whoa, what the fuck is going on here, right? But it was a requirement of being on that yard. And they actually gave you like an hour to sit down and fucking make a decision. Because if your ass if you ain't rolling with that, then you going to, back to level 3. It is what it is. You're not willing to program or whatever. So, shit, you sign them fucking papers, and niggas ain't really got politics like that. Like, niggas really will try to get along until we can't, and then we just gonna come through and just smash everything. That's just how we get out. But we don't have the politics where we can't play cards with another race. Nigga, if you sitting down at the poker table, sit your ass down, right? Now, you run your number up and you can't pay, I'm gonna go talk to your people. You know what I'm saying? Because I know I can't fuck you up myself. But, in terms of the way that we feel about shit, we don't got politics like that. They got politics, and we just play by their politics and shit, right? So it's nothing for me to sign that paper and say, okay, well, a fucking white dude or SA or whatever is going to sleep, on the top bunk or the bottom bunk and shit, right? We ain't in the cell together. I get out, and my homeboy Squeak, shout out to Squeak from 151, goes back to the same penitentiary, and he hits me up on the phone. He's like, what's happening, man? I was like, what's going on in that motherfucker, man? Is such and such there? Who's still there? He said, yeah, man, the yard is fucked up and shit, man. They got us programming with the SNYs. I'm like, what the fuck? Now, if you don't know what the SNY is a particular category of prisoner, used to be called PC, right? Protective custody. They changed, protective custody had a negative political slant to it. So they changed the name to special needs individuals, and therefore special needs yards. So SNY. And they would take entire yards of a penitentiary and just make it all PC. It's always been like that. You always had PC yards. But what they did is they started integrating the PCs back into general population. Some experimental bullshit or whatever. But what it really was that a lot of those guys that had went over to SNY, debriefed and all that kind of shit, running from dope debts, whatever that made it so that you couldn't be on the regular, GP yard, didn't stop these from being the same motherfuckers that will stab the shit out your ass when they wasn't on dope, right? So you had shot callers, from black, Mexican and white gangs. You had black dudes and shit that ran up dope debts. Like, yeah, you might be a tough motherfucker, but you can't fuck up all of us. Get the fuck off the yard type shit, right? So same motherfuckers that, lifers and shit, right? But niggas been in jail for 20 years and shit. Niggas been stabbing motherfuckers for 10 of them. Now they decide to program. They don't want to be a part of whatever's going on and shit, right? Go over to these yards and, you kind of living free from the politics of a regular yard. But now it's more of y'all than it is of regular motherfuckers coming to the yard. So they start integrating the S and Ys back in the general population. At Norco, that was one of the things that, when they hit that shit, they was like, can you program with, former PCs? If you can't, get the fuck off the yard. Take your ass back to a level 3, sell up with your homeboy, you know what I'm saying? One of them motherfucking, fucking clothes B or some shit like that, you know what I'm saying? And go work your shit. But if you want to still be running around this motherfucking, out on the yard, night yard, all that kind of shit, then you got to program with these particular individuals. The thing about it is that niggas like me, right, who's just a traditional, I'm just a fucking convict, right? Just regular thug nigga that go do my time. You know what I'm saying? I play by the rules. I politic like I'm supposed to. You know what I'm saying? I get out like I'm supposed to when I'm supposed to. And, I'm really just trying to, I ain't never had no life sentence. So I'm always trying to get to that light at the end of the tunnel and shit, right? But a lot of these motherfuckers, you know what I'm saying, that ended up getting integrated back into regular yards were motherfuckers that were really about that business and shit, right? But you did tell, like, to debrief back in the old days and shit, right? If you got validated as a gang member of a fucking prison gang, you get an indeterminate shoe program. That's a 23-and-1 program for the rest of it. Like, there ain't, you just going to fucking classification to see if you ever get off the fucking shoe program, but you not, you know what I'm saying? You on the indeterminate. So, on the yard, on the big yard, if you got validated, it was 3 ways to get fucking out of the shoe: parole, debrief, or die. Nigga, that's it. And at some point, a lot of motherfuckers chose debrief. But these was the same motherfuckers that was stabbing niggas left and right on the yard 10 years ago. So now they back in population. And so a nigga like me who, been riding this shit out, riding riots out, doing my whole time, I ain't fucking open my mouth to say a motherfucking thing to make life easier for me. I might, feel some kind of way about, a PC nigga back on the yard. Nigga, damn, homie, you told on, whoa. Like, nigga, you gave it all up. But guess what? That nigga will stab me in my neck probably before I stab his ass, right? The killer rat. The fucking killer rat. So the era of the killer rat has been here, right? This shit is in the penitentiary. It's on the streets. Like I said, niggas will rob you, blow your brains out, and tell the police on you. And old school niggas that kind of is still kind of connected to old school foundational morality, street morality, we almost kind of out the way. You know what I'm saying? Look at the Tekashi 6ix9ine syndrome, as I call it, right? So here you had a motherfucker that, first of all, nigga, you blew up. You out the ghetto, right? You big as fucking rap, getting your bread. You know what I'm saying? You should be living life however the fuck you wanted at this stage of the game. But what you decide you want to do is gang bang, right? Like real niggas that grew up banging. We came to an age at some point where we was like, we want to get the fuck out of this shit, right? Like, I don't want to leave my homies, but I sure want to leave the hood. I just want to take my homies with me and shit, right? But a nigga don't want to be out there ducking bullets and fucking with the police and all the fuck shit that come with hood life. Nigga ain't trying to live that shit all his life. If you got $10 million and you trying to buy your way back into that shit, okay. So the niggas let you buy your way back into this shit, right? And then when the heat came, shit, you folded like a lawn chair, right? Talking about Tekashi 6ix9ine dude. The thing about it is that the reaction to that wasn't what you would have expected it to have been in 1982 when my ass was going to jail. You feel what I'm saying? In 82, a nigga would have told that shit would be over the whole neighborhood. You be persona non grata. Ain't nobody fucking with you on no level. You ain't continuing no fucking career, trolling motherfuckers, none of that shit, right? You probably not gonna make it. You're not gonna be comfortable enough to come back to the hood, period. That's just what it is. And if you do, you know, it's gonna be some kind of tragedy like the Nipsey Hussle shit. You feel what I'm saying? Nowadays, though, niggas can shit on the entire set of fucking morals and principles that they have adopted by choosing street culture and shit, right? Violate all that shit and then show back up, because everybody who is still professing to be street niggas are really about self. The streets have become less of a culture and more of a tool to individual prosperity, right? Or individual fucking success in whatever it is that you're trying to do, right? Whereas when I was coming up, you know, gang banging and just being, you know, part of the hood, your partners and all that kind of shit, right? It was about relationships. You know what I'm saying? The money was just what we did. It was what kept everything going. You know, we were 16 years old and we wanted to fucking, you know, drive lowriders and Cadillacs, and you don't get that shit for free. So you got to go get some money. But it wasn't about going to get the money to stack it up in a motherfucking room and take pictures of it up to my ear or some shit like that to show motherfuckers that I got it. You know what I'm saying? I'm showing that I'm getting it by how I'm living. And when I fall down and it's time for me to go, you know, fucking do a timeout, sit in the box for a minute and shit, right? Then I usually got something tucked away, and my mama got a couple of few dollars or whatever and shit. So I don't have to call a motherfucker and ask them for shit while I'm walking off these motherfucking gears. Nowadays, niggas will be in the county jail and start murder mouthing their homeboys because these niggas is not making it to canteen. Like, bro, what's really going on, right? Is it really just about you, or is it about us and this is what we do? So everybody right now is, you know, just about self. It's not really no morals. And more importantly, I think that youth culture is less about money and more about clout, right? So it's not about what I would call self-shaming standards, right? Honor, loyalty, you know, shit like that. Pride, you know, shit that I'm not going to do nothing because it's going to reflect fucked up on who I am as a person and the way that motherfuckers consider me, right? Like the whole snitching shit, right? I won't tell on your ass not because I don't give a fuck about not getting out of jail. Every nigga wants to get out of jail, but I don't want to get out of jail and have to go back and trying to explain why it is that I made this motherfucking choice, because there's no explanation. The only explanation is, nigga, you was bigger than the venture. The venture being whatever the criminal fucking act was, right? So I felt like I was bigger than that, you know. My freedom was more important than any deal that I made with my homeboys, right? And it ain't never gonna be that for me, right? I'm glad I'm 56 because I can live in that and be comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Me and my boy Nunflyer go do some fuck shit right now, and I get caught up. That nigga knows. Send me 120 a month, nigga. You know what it is. Shit. It ain't gonna be nothing else but that. Period. But nowadays, what these niggas is looking at more is Not even so much the money, but how much you get talked about, right? So it don't even matter that you tell, right? Because remember, everything is kind of living in the digital space. Social media is the streets, right? So it don't matter that I told. It don't matter that I stayed down and got 1,000 years. The only thing that matters is that motherfuckers is talking about me. So yeah, I told on 15 motherfuckers, and I'm on Instagram talking shit like you niggas ain't gonna do nothing. And guess what? Every time I go on Instagram and talk that shit, I go viral. I got 15,000 motherfuckers in my live, 67,000 motherfuckers on the replay every time. So now I don't even have to worry about a motherfucker killing me because I don't have to leave the fucking house. You know, I can Uber Eats everything. I could DoorDash, Postmates, everything, even weed. And I could sit right behind my motherfucking phone or sit behind the computer, troll motherfuckers, and still get paid, you know, on YouTube fucking monetization or whatever. 6ix9ine came out and had the biggest motherfucking biggest rappers and shit, right? Still trying to work with them. Motherfuckers that ain't even in the rap game still trying to come back to the rap game to work with them. Clout. Just want to be talked about. Don't matter how you being talked about. But for some of us, it do. And that's why my ass ain't in the game no more, right? I still talk that shit. You know, I still smoke my little pot, grow my little weed shit. Totally legal in California. I'm 6 plants in. And, you know, fucking stay the fuck out the way, man, because shit is not like it used to be. You know what I'm saying? But I think that we can kind of see that the streets is not how it used to be by the 17,000 videos that's been made in the last 20 hours since we first found out that this nigga got slumped. Because like I said, not very many motherfuckers is having the conversation about the morality. Motherfuckers is having the conversation about the reality. And I think that's where we fall now. Well, it's been another live from the King's Corner of the Piranha Pond. I have been the KingFish Mack. Thank everybody for joining. Like, share, subscribe. Get the likes up. Y'all know what to do. See ya!